Okay, here's my thoughts on the meaning of life. For a lot of people, it's what their culture tells them it should be. In other words, if the culture says, get married, have children, and get a very prosperous job that's esteemed and secure, then that's what becomes the meaning of life or the purpose of one's life if they buy into the culture. And a lot of people do buy into culture, and there are biological grounds for establishing security through work and establishing a family, offspring. A lot of times what people mean when they say, what is the meaning of life, they're really saying, how should I spend my time? I have choice, I have free will. There's all different kinds of things that I could be doing with this time that I'm here in this form. So, what would the philosophers and spiritual masters of the world say? I've been highly influenced by Conversations with God by Neale Walsh and Eckhart Tolle. In Conversations with God, the first 3 books, I really felt the message there was that we are a part of God. We are an extension of God. We are God understanding God's self more creatively and expansively. And so, as opposed to this old religious paradigm of there being a set of rules that we figure out and follow, we come up with ways of being. We create ways of being. And in doing so, we understand ourselves more. And since all spirit is interconnected, then God, spirit, the whole big, underlying connection of it all, understands itself better too. And that's really a liberating perspective when you think about it, compared to trying to follow the right rules in order to get a reward after you die. When it comes to this concept of the meaning of life, we're tempted, I believe, to come up with a singular purpose, such as, be nice to people or whatever, And a lot of times I think that kind of way of thinking comes from going through the public school system, in which you're always being graded all the time. There's always the best answer, and if you get the best answer, then you get an A, and everybody wants an A because of the positive reinforcement. So we can apply that kind of thinking to a philosophical question as well, but I believe it's much more flexible than that, and that we have to determine for ourselves what it is that we want to do with this time, and that's a lot of responsibility. So we may be tempted to give that responsibility over to our parents, or to our partner, or to friends, a consensus of our community as to what is important and what should be focused upon. But it all goes back to ourselves and what it is that we decide to focus upon. And that can be confusing, which is why we want a simple answer sometimes, because being present with confusion and ambiguity is uncomfortable. But there is a way to, get guidance through this, which is tuning in and just listening to your inner voice and separating it from all the external messages that you've heard. There's also an interesting perspective on your life's purpose from Eckhart Tolle, which he says that the purpose of your life is to do whatever you're doing in this moment. If you are to drink a glass of water, then your life's purpose is to pick up the glass, hold it to your lips, and drink. And you find the purpose of your life in the moment, in the present. And that really boils it down. That simplifies things. And I believe that what that brings up, that perspective brings up on an ego level, is drinking a glass of water is not grand enough to be my life's purpose. So I'm not buying into that. I need to accomplish something great, something that will make people look up to me. Remember, when people are looking up to you, that means that you see yourself as above them, and they're looking up. And it doesn't have to be anything that adds to your sense of self. Your life's purpose doesn't have to be something that adds to your self-concept because of how other people react to it. That can be an incredible prison if you believe that achieving some kind of goal that other people will be impressed by is what you're here to do. Because it could be that, yeah, you find something, you become an actor and you get on a TV show and everybody is impressed and talking about you. But it could be that you really don't like it. You find it's boring. You spend a lot of time waiting around for the scene to start and don't really like memorizing your lines. And then you become a prisoner to other people's opinions, other people's perspectives of what is neat, what is impressive, what is cool. So it takes a lot of individuation to find what your purpose is. And I believe there's something to Tolle's perspective of boiling it down into the now. There's something elegant and simple about, pleasantly simple, about saying that I want to be a blank, whatever blank is, an author, I want to be president, whatever that thing is. But if you allow flexibility, then you can allow yourself to adapt. And that's what evolution wants of you. The ability to adapt as you grow and as your environment changes. If your circumstances are one way of being when you're 30, and yet your circumstances are quite different when you're 40, you may want to really change your purpose, your focus of energies. If your challenges are financial at a certain stage, then being focused upon how to create income in a way that doesn't drain your soul might be your purpose. If you're feeling established in that realm, then you might switch towards a relational goal or creative goal or whatever it is that suits the moment. And there's some ambiguity that goes along with being flexible, but ultimately, I think that's the most effective way of seeing the meaning of your life is to allow it to change as you grow and you change.